Hey friends, today we're diving into a really important topic in real estate, property management. If you own investment property, you've got to decide, are you going to manage it yourself or are you going to hire a professional manager? And if you do hire one, what questions should you be asking them? That's exactly what we're breaking down for you today. I'm Rick Annunziata with S&R Properties, and in this video we're going to be talking about the basics of real estate investment, the 7 things you should understand about property management. So let's get started. Number 1, always use a legal rental agreement. I can't tell you how many times I've seen landlords using contracts that include requirements that aren't even legal here in Massachusetts. And some landlords also mishandle things like last month's rent or security deposits, which can cost you big time in court. So keep it simple, keep it legal, and protect yourself with the right wording in your rental agreement. Number 2, should I use a tenancy at will or a lease? And what's the difference? This is a big one. A tenancy at will is a month-to-month contract. A lease usually locks you in for a year. Now on the surface, a lease might sound better, but it also ties your hands as a landlord. If you need a tenant out of your building or if you decide to sell the property, a lease can make things complicated because a lease travels from owner to owner. So for example, you could not accommodate a new owner's request to have that unit vacated at closing. A tenancy at will gives the property owner much more flexibility. And if a person is not going to pay rent, they won't pay no matter what kind of rental contract you use. And it's easier to evict a person when you use a tenancy at will. At the end of the day, finding good tenants and enforcing your rental agreement is what matters most. Number 3 on our list is, how do you screen your tenants? How do you make sure you're getting the right people in your building? A good property manager should conduct a thorough screening process. This includes running a full criminal background check and reviewing the applicant's social media presence. They should also contact previous landlords to confirm that rent was paid on time, run a credit report, verify employment, and complete an income verification. In addition, an eviction check should be performed by reviewing housing court records to see if there are any past evictions on file. There's a lot to review, but being thorough is the best way to ensure you place reliable, high-quality people in your property. Number 4 on our list is, what does a property manager charge? Most property managers charge around 8 to 12% of the monthly revenue, with 10% being the most common. If the building is very small or perhaps a single-family home, they will normally charge a flat fee. A good manager can take care of everything. They collect the rent and take the calls, including the ones late at night that owners hate to get. And they manage the maintenance on the property as well. A flexible company could take on a small part of the management for a reduced fee. For example, you might not mind managing, but you just need help finding tenants. Well, a good company can do that. Number 5 on our list is, how do you handle evictions? Nobody likes talking about them, but you need to know how to handle the eviction process. The management company should understand the details of the eviction process. They should also understand the laws governing an eviction and be able to negotiate with the court on your behalf. File the necessary paperwork, and if necessary, meet with a mediator in housing court. They should also be familiar with fair housing laws too. You know, the rental industry in Massachusetts is regulated very carefully. The reality is most nightmare tenants come from poor screening techniques, and a good manager will protect you from that. Number 6 on our list is knowing the vacancy rate in your area. Vacancy rates vary by area, sometimes as low as 1 to 2%, other times 5% or more. Your rent should be based not just on vacancy rates, but also location, property condition, and what nearby landlords are charging. If the vacancy rate is low, you might be able to charge more because of the effects of supply and demand on the rental market. So finally, last on our list is return on investment. And while it's not a function of a manager, it's important because purchasing wrong will have a negative effect on the manager. because the owner will not have adequate capital to manage the property. A poor purchase means less money for repairs and maintenance, and in turn it means your buildings are going to be harder to rent. Now, a standard down payment required in a multi-unit building is about 20 to 30%. The amount you put down is your investment, out-of-pocket money that you're putting into the property. You need to look at the entire income potential of the property, and then you subtract that by the expenses, things like insurance, mortgage, water and sewer, and the vacancy rate. Also add in a yearly maintenance estimate and any capital improvements that are needed on the property. You should try to make at least 7% on your investment. And when you think about it, historically, the rate of return in the S&P index and the stock market is around 7%. So why invest in real estate if you're barely matching the stock market? Well, the answer is very simple: growth equity. You see, over time, your tenants pay for the property, and each year you own it, your equity rises. And that's the additional benefit of real estate ownership as an investment. So there you have it, the 7 key questions and principles every property owner or manager needs to know. Buy right, manage smart, and always treat your investment like a business, because that's exactly what it is. Thanks for watching. I'm Rick Annunziata with S&R Properties.